మేడం ఇప్పుడు అక్కడ 12:30 జాయిన్ అవుతారా? రండి మేడం, మళ్ళీ వేరే వాళ్ళు వస్తే మళ్ళీ మీకు మళ్ళీ మళ్ళీ రాలేదు. మళ్ళీ 12:30 నేను ఆల్రెడీ వచ్చినాను రైట్. Hello, madam. Can you join after 10 minutes? Can you join? No, join, madam, because the capacity is 100 now. The some people will come, we will ask to your connection. You join, madam. Yeah, I'm in. Right. Thank you.
Good afternoon, sir.
హలో మేడం.
Good afternoon, sir.
గుడ్ ఆఫ్టర్నూన్. ఆమె కూడా రిసోర్స్ పర్సన్ కూడా జాయిన్ అవుతున్నారు.
Okay.
వెయిట్ చేద్దాం.
Done, sir. Done.
డన్ మేడం.
సార్
మేడం చెప్పండి.
మళ్ళీ ఒక 20కి వెబినార్ ఉంది కదా సార్?
మనది ఉంది మేడం, మనమే, మీరే కూడా ఎక్కరు.
20 28 అనుకుంటా.
8 2 చూసుకోండి.
సరే సార్.
మీకు నేను రెజ్యూమ్ పంపిస్తా.
సరే సార్.
మీరు అప్పుడప్పుడు చెప్పండి, పార్టిసిపెంట్స్ ఏమైనా డిస్టర్బ్ చేస్తే ప్లీజ్ కీప్ యువర్ మ్యూట్, ఆడియో అండ్ వీడియో చెప్పండి.
సరే సార్. ఓకే ఫైన్.
ఓకే మంచిది. మేడం హలో.
సార్.
మేడం వేరే వర్క్లో ఉన్నారట, మేడం రావడానికి పాసిబుల్ కాదట.
నవ్వుతా మేడమా? ఓకే సార్.
మీరు కొంచెం ఆ మేడం వచ్చే టైంని మీరు మన డిపార్ట్మెంట్ గురించి ఏమన్నా ఎలాబరేట్ చేస్తే చేయండి.
ఓకే
చూడండి,
సార్.
ఒకవేళ పాసిబుల్ అయితే చూడండి, లేకపోతే లీవ్ ఇట్ టు గివ్ టు హర్.
ప్రిన్సిపల్ సార్ వస్తారా?
చెప్పిన మేడం నేనైతే, మరి చూడండి, వస్తున్నామో ఇన్వైట్ చేయండి, లేకపోతే లీవ్ ఇట్.
సార్ మెకానికల్ వాళ్ళు వెబినార్ కండక్ట్ చేస్తారా?
అవును మేడం, నేను కూడా నిన్న పోస్ట్ చూసిన. చేస్తున్నాడు, వాళ్ళకు కూడా ఉన్నట్టుంది, 20 and 23 ఉన్నట్టుంది.
అవును సార్. అవును.
ఇక మా ఎవరు వాళ్ళే, మనం పీజీ వాళ్ళు యూజీ, ఎవరు వాళ్ళదా మేడం.
ఎస్ సార్. ఎస్ సార్.
మనం ఎప్పుడో షెడ్యూల్ చేసినాం అవన్నీ. అదే మేడం, రిసోర్స్ పర్సన్ కూడా వస్తారు కావచ్చు, వస్తే మనం తొందరగా స్టార్ట్ చేద్దాం.
ఓకే సార్.
ఇలా సిఎస్సి వల్ల కూడా ఉన్నది మేడం.
సిఎస్సి వాళ్ళది 17th అనుకుంటా.
అవునవును, అదంతా బ్యాక్ సైడ్ అంతా నేనే వర్క్ చేసినదంతా.
పద్మా మేడం చెప్తారు.
అంతా చేసిన. వాళ్ళది కూడా ఉన్నది, అంతా అయిపోతుంది వాళ్ళది కూడా. నెక్స్ట్ ఇది అయిపోయినాక నెక్స్ట్ వాళ్ళ వరకు మళ్ళీ వాళ్ళదే. మనమే ఇస్తున్నాం లైవ్ అవన్నీ, గూగుల్ మీట్ అవన్నీ.
చెప్పారు పద్మా మేడం చెప్పారు.
ఓకే మేడం, చూడండి ఆ టైం బట్టి. మేడం రాలే కానీ ఇక మేడం గురించి ప్రస్తావించకండి, చెప్తే అని చెప్పండి, చూసుకోండి అవన్నీ.
మాధురి మేడం కూడా రారు కదా సార్?
రారట మేడం, పెళ్ళి ఉందట, నల్గొండలో ఉన్నారట, నిన్నటి నుంచే అవుట్ ఆఫ్ స్టేషన్. నో ఇష్యూస్ మేడం, మనకు రిసోర్స్ పర్సన్ మంచిగా ఉండి వచ్చి, తను ఇప్పుడే ఫోన్ చేసిన జాయిన్ అవుతా అన్నారు. పార్టిసిపెంట్ వస్తే ఇట్ విల్ సక్సెస్. ఈ రెండే ఉన్నవి ఈ మంత్లో, ఈ రెండే ఉన్నవి. ఇంకేమైనా ఉంటే చూద్దాం మళ్ళీ. ఇప్పుడు 24th నుంచి ఆన్లైన్ క్లాసెస్ ఉన్నవి కదా.
అవును సార్. అవును.
ఇక మనం బిజీ అయిపోతాం. ఎలా ఉన్నది మేడం, మీరు ఉండేది ఎక్కడ మేడం? పెద్దపల్లినా?
అవును సార్, చందపల్లి.
చందపల్లి ఎంత దూరం ఉంటుంది పెద్దపల్లికి?
బస్ స్టాండ్ నుంచి ఒక 10 minutes సార్, షార్ట్ కట్ లో.
అంతేనా? అక్కడ బాగా ఎట్లుంది కరోనా కేసెస్?
ఉన్నాయి సార్.
అంతేనా? ఇటు కూడా విచ్చలవిడి ఉన్నాయి మేడం, బయటకు వెళ్ళే పరిస్థితి లేదు. మనకి ఆన్లైన్ క్లాసెస్ చెప్పేటప్పుడు కాలేజీకి రావాలని అన్నారట.
కాలేజ్కి రావాలని
కాలేజ్కి వచ్చి ఇక్కడ కండక్ట్ చేయాలి అన్నారట. చూద్దాం మరి ఏమంటారు, ఏం జరుగుతుందో మరి. కాలేజీకి వచ్చి అంటే ఏడైంది మేడం, ఇబ్బంది అయింది.
ట్రాన్స్పోర్ట్ అంటే మళ్ళీ
ట్రాన్స్పోర్ట్ పోనీయండి మేడం, ఎవరికి ఏం వైరస్ ఉంటుంది తెలియదు అక్కడ, ఎవరు ఎంతమంది వస్తూ ఉంటారు.
మనకి ఇమ్యూనిటీ కొద్దిగా అటాక్ అయిపోతుంది.
అవును, అదొక పెద్ద భయం ఉన్నది. చూద్దాం ఏం జరుగుతుంది, మనం మాట్లాడదాం మేడం సార్తో. ఎక్కడైతే మేడం మన ఆన్లైన్ క్లాసులు ఎప్పుడైనా ఎడ కూర్చుంటే ఏముంది, మళ్ళీ అక్కడ ఇంటర్నెట్ సిగ్నల్ ఉండదు, ఏముండదు.
అవును సార్, అది కూడా పెద్ద ప్రాబ్లం.
మొహమ్మద్ అవును, ఎక్కడ కూడా ఉండదు. ఒక పార్టిసిపెంట్స్ వస్తున్నారు, మ్యూట్ పెట్టుకోండి. యా మహమ్మద్ సార్, ప్లీజ్ కీప్ మ్యూట్ వీడియో అండ్ ఆడియో. హలో సార్. యా ఓకే, థ్యాంక్ యూ. Hello, madam. You join. Participants are coming. Yeah, you join. Yeah, Muhammad, dear Muhammad sir, please keep mute your audio and video. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going for the YouTube live, madam. Please wait. One minute, please. Yeah, Swati madam.
Yeah, sir.
Yeah, you can carry on.
We'll start in then.
So we will wait 10 minutes, madam, to
Yes, sir.
12:40.
Yeah, sir.
You will start to 1 o'clock, madam. 12:40 is there. Wait 20 minutes.
Hi, ma'am. Good afternoon. Yeah.
Hello, good afternoon. How are you? Good, thank you.
Happy to see you, ma'am.
Happy to see you too.
Swati madam,
Yes, sir.
12:55 like that you start.
Okay, sir. Sure.
People are joining.
Okay, done, sir.
Daddy,
Okay.
na coffee kawan.
So shall we?
Yeah, you can, madam.
Okay, done. Greetings, everyone. Thank you all for finding the time and attending today's webinar. My name is Swati, Assistant Professor of MBA Department. It's a great honor for the Department of Risk Management for presenting one-day international level webinar on Manual for Writing an Effective Research Article. Other parts of the world, right? We have a Mother Teresa College.
Please, others keep mute, participants.
Plan campus, policy and located at a college enlightened students in the past by providing courses such as BTech, MBA, diploma, streams by making every stream complete. It's grateful to be a part of the MBA department, which approved by the ICT affiliated to the MBA. The department equipped with qualified, experienced faculty. We provide lifelong practically the current. Under the great guidance of Dr.E.Upendar, the HOD of the department, we conducted the national level conferences, MBA fairs, and recently we conducted three online courses with more than 1,000 participants. We also conducted e-webinar and 2-day international FDP, which was very great success. Now it's my honor to request our webinar director, Dr. Upendar, the HOD of MBA department, who made everything possible in this impossible conditions, to share his views with us regarding this session. Please, sir. I request our director, sir, Dr. Upendar sir Garu. Hope sir is not available. Wait for that. There is some small technical issues. We couldn't able to get our Upendar sir, the director of this webinar. So I'll be proceeding for the further one. And let us go to the straightforward to the session. What going to happen today? It's a time to start our session. Before getting to the track, I would like to introduce a special person who is going to handle this session for the next 1 hour virtually. She is a land surveyor, professional and a researcher, working as a global assistant of General Secretary, Eudoxia Research Center, organized international conferences in various fields concerned with the topics of scientific research and self-development, participated in online training course and concerned with the scholars and the method of scientific research and publishing, organized and participated on the talk show edX Talks online YouTube channel with the professors and experts from the whole globe and exchange experience in various topics. Presented papers titled The Various Implementations of Geographic Information System GIS in Field of Urban Development Planning in the International Online Conference in India. She been as a supervisor, engineer in engineering department in Syria, been a scientific researcher, and also a topographic engineer at UN Office of Engineering Studies. She backed the certifications of training on manuscript drafting and publishing and certification of participating in international conference on application of SPSS and data analysis. Completed a master degree in civil engineering and bachelor degree in civil engineering in topography department, having a great organizational skills and leading capability, excellent communication and interpersonal skills. Yoga is the light, which once lit will never dim. She is giving such a light to the women to radiate themselves by doing yoga. She is a path maker. She is none other than our speaker, Suzie Naim. A warm welcome to you, ma'am. We are waiting for you and for your deserving words. It's a pleasure welcoming you. Please, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. Thank you all. First, thank you for this invitation. I'm glad to be with you and join you and to go together in this journey of researching. As we know, we are all growing, so the process of learning and education is always growing. The process of researching is always expanding, and whatever you do, there is always be new information, new technology in all over the country. So by attending conferences, international conferences, by attending training programs, you will be able to what? To be in the middle of this procedure of what? Of learning and expanding and getting new knowledge. So I wish you all to enjoy the journey I will take you today in writing effective research papers and articles, because I was one of the people. I faced a problem actually during writing my thesis because I didn't have a background about it. So I really worked hard and searched about it and asked many people and colleagues to help me, and also done a lot of efforts. And now I'm helping a lot of students, scholars in most spots of the world in the process of researching and the process of learning. And actually, I don't prefer to use the word helping because I'm exchanging the knowledge with others. And this is the best part of researching, because the main concept to be a research is to be able to always get a better information, get detailed information. The technology is now running and we have to catch it up. So we need always to work more on ourselves. And I believe this is the most important core aspect of being a researcher. So let's start by our presentation. Yeah, and thank you, Dr.E.Upendar, for this invitation, and thanks, Mother Teresa. I want to mention something else because I read about Mother Teresa and I was fascinated and astonished with this beautiful aims and targets because we are all part of this humanity, and we are changing and exchanging. We are changing the world by exchanging the knowledge, by exchanging the information with each other. So I really believe in the message and in the targets that Mother Teresa seek for. And so much I'm enjoyable to be a part of this conference and international meeting and exchange knowledge with you also. And thank you again.
Yeah, madam, you can present PPT.
Yeah, I will start right now.
Dear participants, YouTube live will come very soon due to technical problems. I will share. Madam, carry on, madam.
Okay, yeah.
You present.
So welcome to the MTEC, MBA, and one day international day level webinar on guidance for writing an effective research article and publishing in Good Impact Factor journal. Actually, it's so huge subject to talk about and to cover all the aspects of it. But I tried as much as I can to cover much of the most important axes. Okay, and let's start. So, sorry there, I hear some voice. Guidance for writing effective research paper and publications. I have, like I mentioned, master degree in urban development planning, and I'm also now planning for another master degree in water resource management. I am the Assistant Chief Executive Officer in Eudoxia Research Center, which is located also in India, but I'm living in Iraq, and I'm originally from Syria.
Yeah, madam, are
Today,
you presenting?
yeah,
Yeah,
yes, sir.
we are able to see, madam. Yeah, it's clear. It's clear. Somebody, please, participants, you don't present. A disturbance is
Yeah,
coming. Please, you can present,
yeah,
madam.
please, yeah. The contents of our lecture will be research writing overview, an overview about research writing, what's the section, what each section should include. Second part is I'm going to talk about research paper structure. So about writing an overview for writing a research paper structure. What are the sections in the research paper, the research article. Third point I want to talk about is how to compose a research paper section. And this is the main section in our presentation, because we are going to give you the technology, the technique that will enable you to write an effective. So I'm not going to talk to you today about how to do a research. My topic today is how to write an effective research, a high quality research paper. So I'm not going to talk about what you do to go to the research, but to write a high quality paper. And finally, a glance, I'll take a glance at publication in Good Impact Factor journal. And what's the meaning of Good Impact Factor? What the meaning of peer reviewed, for example, how many indexes are we having? What's the meaning of the index in the first place? So research writing overview. First, let's start. What is the point of research paper? So why you are writing a research paper? Okay, there are many reasons, but I conclude these reasons into three reasons, sorry. First, to share your knowledge with other researchers. How can you evaluate your work? How can you evaluate your research? How can you evaluate your effort? You cannot evaluate it unless you shared it with others who will review it and give you their opinion. And this is the first point of writing a research paper. Show how your study fits with the current science. So, as I mentioned the first of my presentation, that we are going and developing and each and every second. So we should what? We should be able always to increase our knowledge. Increasing our knowledge means what's the point of your research if it doesn't fit the technology we are living now? So you should, to show how important you study, you should focus on how your study fits in with the current science. Inform the public about the importance of scientific activity. A lot of problems, and this is the main point. We are facing as a humanity a lot of problems. Okay, environmental problems, pollution problems. So what's the important point of research? Research help you and help the humanity to what? To have a better environment, to have a better solutions for what? For the obstacles and for the problems we are encountering as humanity together. So this is the important point. By, for example, uh, one vaccine will help millions of people to recover, like as we're witnessing now in this pandemic. So a lot of research, medical research, has been made in labs to what? To help people get recovery. So this is the main point of research paper, researching in general. Important factors of for research writing quality. What are, I'm going to talk about the most important factors of what? Of writing research. What are the points that make your research have a better quality, or has a better quality, or has a high quality? So let's explore them together. First, coherence. All of the parts of your paper should fit together in order that makes sense. Okay? So you should use the logic, okay? And you should join your ideas in a logical way, in a chronological way, actually. Include all necessary information in each section needed to you, okay? You should include the most important information, and we are going to discover what is the meaning of each point I'm going to talk about. Don't repeat information unless necessary, because repeating decreases the quality of your effort and your research. So try not to repeat yourself, because the reviewer will be bored and will be not interested in publishing your paper. And finally, ensure that your sentences are grammatically and logically coherent. For example, I'm from Syria, okay? I don't, English is not my native language. So they're not going to require the high top English, but pay attention to grammar, because even if you write in high quality, if your grammar were a little bit, they weren't right, or there are a lot of mistakes, grammatical mistakes, it will reduce the quality of your effort and your research paper. Second, the organization, and this is the most important part. How to organize your your paper, sorry. First, put the right parts in the right place, and it is obvious, it's clear advice, and it's a straight advice. And we are going to explore what is the meaning of this. Second, most scientific papers follow the IMRD structure. What is the IMRD structure? It concludes introduction, results, methods, and discussion. And this is what we call the IMRD structure. So be careful and attention, because each journal, for example, has special requirements like font, like, for example, the Americans, okay, etc. But most of them, or all of them, follow the IMRD structure. So you should introduction, methodology, results, discussion. And this is the way how it's organized. Relevance. Conform to length guidance and keep paper focused. If they wrote to you, for example, 6,000 word essay, you don't have to go to 7,000 word essay. Even if 1,000 word will give you a better quality. Why? Because you have to fit in with the requirements, okay? Second, choose a limited amount of data present in each section. So, for example, if here's an example, if I have 6,000 word essay, I need just 6 to 7 results, not more than that. Be sure to only include information that gives reader a focused and relevant understanding of your area of study. So, a lot of information are there, but choose the information that that support the idea that you want to give it, that you want to offer it to, and you want to share it with other researcher and with other reviewers. Clarity. Always be clear. Should be easy to understand and read. Shouldn't be that complicated. Simple sentence, but also scientific. Should be scientifical. Also, use proper grammar, phrasing, and font style, as I mentioned, because each journal has special requirement. So follow this requirement. Check the formatting and style rules of target journal conference, and as I mentioned, so the conference, if you make a research paper for a conference, so ask them or ask other researchers or colleagues, what is the formatting, what is the style, or just directly send email and ask them what are the formatting and style rules of your target journal. You can check the guide author section, and in each journal there's a guide for author section. So if you want to publish in a journal, please pay attention to this guide for authors section. Readable and comprehensible to both experts and possibly non-experts, depending on your target audience, as I mentioned. So try to make it expanded more. And this is an advice for making expanding more. To make it readable and comprehensible to both experts and possibly non-experts. So if you write a paper about mathematics, so try to, even if the people who haven't expert in math, they should be able to at least understand what is the point of your information or what is the point of your paper. Part 2 I'm going to talk about is research paper structure. So research paper structure. What is the research paper structure? First, there's a golden rule. What is this golden rule? You should go from broad to specific. Okay? Always start from broad to specific. And then from specific to broad. So broad from broad to specific and specific to broad. How is that? By starting with introduction. Introduction starting from known information. So you are going to have a research, okay, to write a research paper. So always start from what? From known information. And this is the main point. What is known and what is the unknown? That's all about it. And this is hypothesis. Where is the gap and how to fill this gap? So to make it attractive, your research paper, you need to fill the gap. Okay? So you can start by talking about, for example, cancer, if you have a medical research paper. So start about cancer and how it's spread wide and etc. etc. And then fill the gap. Where is the problem in this? So hypothesis always think about where is the gap and how we should fill this gap. Method. So what did you do to address this gap, to deal with this gap, to cope with this gap? What did you do? Okay. So the procedure you follow to find a solution for this problem. Results. What results did you get or did you gain? Okay. And be note here that results should not discuss what's the point of your results. They only give you in results section The results of the method procedure you already do. Okay, discussion and how this results for the gap. So for example, I came to a conclusion that by using oil, by using oil, for cars, it's helped me more, for example, in dealing with environmental pollution. This is an example. Okay, so okay. So statistics show me that using oil gas help cars in doing much better, and this, for example, reduce traffics, etc. But what is the point of this results you reach? So discussion will show us how do these results fill this gap that I'm going to, that I talked already about in the hypothesis. Conclusion. And what does this mean for us? Okay, so what's the meaning of this? So you reach this, okay, you come to this results, and how do you mentioned how do the results fill this gap? Okay, you fix the problem, for example, in environmental, but would this help us? Would this make find a real solution? What are the implications? How it can apply it in the earth? Okay, apply all of this. So what does this mean for us? Introduction actually discuss, I'm going to talk about in general now about each part, and then how to write effective essay in each or effective article in each part. So as I mentioned, IMRD is the main structure. Introduction, discuss the problem to be solved, describe where your research fits into current science, use primary literature, and summarize the current understanding of the problem. So introduction, summarize and focus on the what? And the problem you are dealing with, or you are trying to offering, or you are trying to find a solution for it. Methods, what are the methods? So how did you do study? How did you do it? What are the analysis methods are used, for example? So what materials and methods of experimentation and analysis were used? What are the samples used? What the materials used? The methods of experimentation used? Use primary literature and summarize the current understanding of the group. So results. The results in this section, what you are going to offer or to focus on. And I'm telling you again, I'm not telling you how, it's not how we are going to focus on how research. Instead, we are going to focus how to do a high quality research which will be accepted in general easily. So results first explains the important findings of your study and help answering your research question. And we are going to explore what is the research question, and what are the correct research question and what are the not correct research question. They don't discuss the importance of your findings and results. I don't discuss the importance of your findings. I just say my results, this figure shows, etc. So the results show the importance, not the importance of your finding. Instead, they only talk about the methods that have been used and the finding of this method. So I use this method, and what are the findings of the method I have been used. Discussion
Hello?
part. Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. So discussion. What your findings mean, and what are the implications?
Because we cannot hear her. There is no voice, there is no sound.
Okay.
So please, if you can hear.
Yeah, sound is very clear, sir.
She can hear.
Check your device.
Hear her.
Sound is very
Yeah.
clear, sir.
Good, sir.
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. It's madam. It's clear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In discussion part, in discussion section, we are going to talk what your findings mean and what are the implications to your area of study and to related fields. So you finding something, okay? what are the implications to this area of study. I'm not, for example, if I need medical research, I'm not going to talk about the implication of the study about agriculture, for example. I need to relate it to the area of study that I'm talking about and raise it first. Includes limitations to your study and discuss possible future research that is needed. Don't expand widely. This is a rule. Don't expand widely discussion. Only have some limitations and discuss what are the future research needed. Second part I'm going to talk about, which is the composing research paper section. And this is the core of our presentation. So please, let's go in this together. First, so I talked to you about research article. What are the sections? Introduction, IMRD, introduction, methods, results, discussion. But okay, I know all the details and this was okay, but how to start? Well, starting actually reversed. How is reversed? Actually, we start with methods. Yeah, we start with the method. Second, from methods, we go. Yes.
Yeah, participants. Yeah.
From methods.
Participants, please keep your Google Meet mute. Madam, carry on. It's everything clear, madam. You carry on.
Yeah.
Maybe there is
methods, then results, then discussion, then introduction. Yeah, because I was one of people, of students, that I thought I should start, for example, first with the introduction. No. When you're writing your research paper, you should start actually with methods, then results, then discussion, then introduction. And I'm going to talk profoundly why this. What should I do before writing? So now you are aware of the sections, but what should you do before writing? First, find your research question and hypothesis. What study seek to find? And this is the most important. So ask yourself, what does the study seek to find? Okay. Second, the targeted audience. So in the first research question and hypothesis, what the study seek to find and the main arguments. What are the main arguments? Ask yourself these questions. Second, the target audience. Which audience are you writing for? Is it for a conference, for a school, for example, a journal you want to promote, for example, from assistant professor to professor. So what are the audience you are writing? Who are they? So, and for that, read many articles. For example, I will participate in this conference. Try to read articles written in this conference before. Try to ask colleagues, etc. Figures and tables. Prepare figures and tables. Yeah. Create and gather all the data in tables. So figures and tables, collecting all the data and putting them in what? In tables. Give them in caption and number in order. So you should write a caption, and we are going to explore furthermore what is the caption and how I write the caption, and write them in order. Make, and this is important, make the sentence out of data. So in figures and table, you make a sentence out of this data. Write a method. So as we said, we should write a method. We should start by writing the method. How was the study carried out?
Ma'am? Hello, ma'am?
So,
yeah.
Ma'am, PPT is not visible, ma'am.
Yeah, you do one thing, madam. In your device, just click on the PPT button. Pin button is there, notice board. You can able to see.
Okay,
yeah,
thank you.
so what is the problem?
Yes, one thing, 1 minute, madam. The participants, you do one thing. Madam is presenting. You click on the notice board pin button. You can able to see the PPTs. Yeah, carry on, madam. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, they are not seeing the PPTs or what?
It's coming, madam. No, it's coming. You carry on, madam. Present.
Yeah. Okay.
Govinda Charilu sir, don't present. You carry on, madam. Yeah, madam. Suzie, madam.
Can you see it?
Yeah, yes, madam. You present full mode PPTs.
Yeah.
Full mode, full mode.
So
Yeah, now
the
it's fine.
audience,
Yeah, fine, madam.
figures and tables,
Yeah.
write the method. So how was the study carried out? The main question we should answer in this section, how was your study carried out? So where do you get sample study? So describe in this section, what should you do? You should first describe how experiments were done. Second, describe why experiment procedure was chosen. Why I choose this procedure, not the other procedure. Okay. Explain method of analysis. There are so many methods of analysis, BCA, SCA, but you should explain what is the method you are using. Explain how results were analyzed, how we get to the result, what the procedures we do, what are the experiments we are using, etc. Second, materials used, including site and sample. So what does include? First, materials used. The method should include the materials used, site and sample. And I'm going to talk more about site and sample and as an example. How measurements were made, how they were made, statistical method of analysis. What is the statistical method I follow or in my method? About organization. So I talked about what you should do in the method. Okay. Second, what your method should include. And third part I want to talk about is the organization of your method. Organize from the most important to less important. And this is a golden rule in everything, in each aspect. Organize from most important to less important. Second, list the methods in same order as it appears in the results section. And actually, this was one of my mistakes I've made in writing my dissertation. But then my supervisor told me that no, you should write your results in the same order as methods. Description of preparation should be organized chronologically, and this is so important part. So preparation should be organized chronologically.
Madam, we are not able to see your PPTs, madam.
Not able to see PPT?
Yeah. You present once again.
It's okay. It's okay. It's visible.
Okay, no problem. You carry on, madam.
Visible? Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I am unable to show. I'm unable to show to the YouTube, madam. You once again you present.
Yeah.
YouTube live is coming. Just you present once again.
Yeah. Method section. Notice here that method section is only about 10% of your essay. Only 10%. But it is somewhat important. You are showing the procedure you made to fix this problem, to deal with this problem. So it's only 10%, but it's important. It should conclude, for example, 3 to 4 paragraphs, 5 paragraphs, okay? Not more than this. If the essay like 4,000 words, okay? So if your essay like 4,000 words, you should conclude or include 3 or 4 paragraphs, 5 the maximum. What are the tips to follow in methods section? Use passive voice and past tense. Do not discuss results in method section. Do not discuss the results. Use specific qualitative and quantitative details. And we are going to explore what are the meanings and in an example. Methods rewriting process. Create, for example, I'm going to talk about now I have a sample and I have like catalase extract. So what should I do? I have this paper about catalase extract. First, you should create a list of your material sample. So for example, I need 30 grams of potatoes, 150 milliliter of desalted water, kitchen blender, clean capped container, and cheesecloth. Second, preparation of material. Preparation, for example, write them down. Skin the potatoes. You can write it down or think about it. So skin the potatoes, wash and dice. So okay, I brought, for example, potatoes. I skin the potatoes, wash and dice, blend the potatoes with water, store in capped container, prepare for individually labeled spectrophotometer tubes. Third point is a method of analysis used. A method of analysis, spectrophotometer. So I should bring spectrophotometer to measure, for example, wavelength, calibration, pH, etc. Second point, write the information as a sentence. Okay, so you manage them, you categorize them into 3 categories. Now write them in a sentence. Material samples, for example, 30 grams of potatoes, cheesecloth, and 150 milliliter of distilled water were bought. Okay, you bought them. Second, preparing sample. A potato was skinned, so now you are chilling. A potato was skinned, washed, and diced. 30 grams of diced potatoes and 150 milliliter of distilled water were added to kitchen blender and blended for approximately 2 minutes. The resulting solution was filtered through the 4 layers of cheese cloth. The extract of this was stored in a cleaned capped container. Method of analysis. So what is the method you are used? 4 spectrophotometer tubes use different amounts, a buffer of pH 7, 0.1% catalase subtract, and desalted water. So the wavelength of the spectronic, for example, 20 spectrophotometer was set at 540 nanometer. To calibrate this spectrophotometer at 0 epsilon. So I use this spectrophotometers that I've talked about, and I organize my ideas and put them in a coherence, linking the ideas together in a logical way. Let's have this sample, this example from the journal called Evidence-Based Complementary and Alternative Medicine. Okay, from this year, volume 2020. This journal is an open access, the ID, and you can check the link. So here is the sample. Sample preparation, as I mentioned. Sample preparation, he used as we see, a subtitle. The herb CGF and gango were obtained from market, which is located in Hebei, China, and were authenticated by Professor Lin Mai, traditional Chinese medicine, were disposed at the lab. So he bought, okay, this is an example, he purchased it or obtained it. Ginger was purged and located. So as we see, look to these examples. The materials in sample preparation, the location. Okay, the location was at TCM market in Hebei, China. The preparation. Second, as they mentioned, the purity of all standards was all above 98%. Specific quantities. Don't try to use furthermore much. There were so many. Use always specific percent. Above 98, less than 50%. more than, don't say high temperature. Say it was 41 degree, okay? The passive voice. So in this section, use always passive voice or past tense. Some actually reviewers or some suggest that why we shouldn't use active voice or active tense. You can use it, but you will be restricted to it. Okay, so try to be restricted to one, so passive voice or a past tense, and this is the most preferable in this section. Third, we are going to talk about is the result rewriting. So we are talked about the method rewriting process. Now we are going to talk about the result rewriting process. There are so many basic points in results rewriting process. It should include your findings. So I made this example and I'll get to findings, okay? Finding presented in the same order as in method section. Third point, data presented in tables, chart, graphs, and other figures placed among research text on a separate page. Reports and data collection requirement and or participating. Data that correspond to central research questions. As we see, results, so it should include your findings. This is first point. Second, these findings should be in the same order as in the method section. Third, the data should be represented or presented in tables and charts, and we're going to see example for it. Reports on data collection requirement and or participants. So you should include the reports on data collection. What is the data collection requirement? And data that correspond to the central research. So first in research, you should mention the primary result, then the secondary finding. So primary, then secondary. From most important to least important. This is a golden rule you should always follow. Result rewriting process. What is the result writing process? Organization. Let's talk about organization. Write the results in the same order as your writing methods, as I told you. Address specific research question presented in the figures within each research question. So you should, you should find, for example, should find solution for your question. So there is a research question and address a specific research question presented in the figures within a research question. Third point, present the type of data that address that research question. So what type of data are used? That address this research question you mentioned in the first of your research or as you were writing. Because as I mentioned, do you remember what I've told you? That first you should think about the question. What is you're seeking for in this? What is the research question? Then the audience, if you remember. Captions. Let's talk about captions. And some scholars or some students actually find it difficult or misunderstanding. Here's a rule. Caption, okay, is not a sentence. It's not a sentence. It's a phrase, okay? And you can go further and ask the differences between phrases and sentences. So a phrase should what? Should begin with a name, okay? With a noun, okay, sorry. Should begin with a noun. So caption your figures with the same method. Caption must be specific and clear, not too long and not too abbreviated, or it should be clear and specific. Write the caption before your result. Yes, you should write your caption before your result caption. Let's see this example. Amaram, of course, all the examples I'm going to show you are from the same article. You can check it later on. MRM protometograms of all components in rat plasma. It's about pay attention here. MRM. So he started with a noun of all competence. He explained it in rat plasma A blank plasma. So we have A. So here blank plasma. So it's a caption and it's a phrase and so specific, so clear, and that's it. The results. Let's talk about the results. So the results also from the article mentioned, to achieve better resolution and good beak shape, the chromatographic conditions were optimized by using methanol, water, and water different the preparations of formic acid. As a result, so address the research question with data details. Okay, so for example, this here question, how to optimize the chromatographic conditions. How to optimize it? So the answer will be they were optimized by using methanol, water, and water. What is second? So let's see. For example, we mentioned the most important result. The most important result. So the most important the question, you answer the question of your research paper. You answered it was optimized by this. As a result, water was chosen the mobile phase to obtain high response intensity and good beak shape for the 5 analysis. So you mentioned the result you've reached. And here be careful. 12. Use a variety of verbs. Don't repeat verbs. Don't repeat yourself. As a result, to obtain, we're optimized, okay? Obtain, optimized. Use variety of verbs because when you are repeating verbs, the same verbs, so many times, it will, even if your research high quality, it will reduce your quality, okay? And also use furthermore, more than, also, as a result, as a shown. So variety of verbs, variety of linking verbs, variety of etc. So here, as I mentioned, from the most important result to the least important, addressing another question and this important. So as in shows in figure 1, they were no interference and dangerous interference at their big region in the chromatograph profile. So here the the speech is about as you're making a dialogue with the reader or the reviewer. So to show it as it's shown in figure 1. So here's a sample of table and another sample of caption. So as in shown in figure 1, you are telling him, you are having a dialogue with him, and you are representing the secondary result. Okay, so the main result or the most important result you want the reviewer to to have attention to will came first, and then the secondary result. What are the tips to follow in this section? Okay, each section I will mention tips to follow. Limit your results to only those that address your research question. Return to the results section later after you have completed the introduction and remove less relevant information. Okay, you may reach lots of information, lots of results. So you may reach, sorry, lots of results, but it's important to what? To limit these results and to focus on the results that support what the idea you want to deliver, that addresses the research question you already asked the first before writing your article, and avoid or neglect relevant and relevant less relevant information. For numbers, use two significant details digital unless more precision is necessary. For example, don't say 4.14987 this etc. Just 4.15 unless it's required to not this.
Excuse me,
So
madam.
the basic rule
Excuse
is
me,
only two
madam.
digits. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Some voice is not clear. Are you presenting PPT, madam?
Yeah,
Yes,
I'm
sir.
present.
PPT is not shown. It is not
Yeah,
displayed.
you just click on PPT screen, sir. We are getting. Do some
Okay, sir.
settings.
Some voice is not clear. Just you see that.
Voice is very clear, sir.
It's
Is it
not
audible?
coming, sir. You see on the
Maybe,
message board
maybe
also.
maybe your internet problem.
No
It's
net
clear.
problem.
Somebody is messaging voice also very clear. Maybe internet
Yeah,
problem.
yeah, I will continue. I will proceed. So,
Thank you, madam. Thank
for
you.
numbers, use two significant digital unless more precision is necessary. So, limit your results. Okay, even you reach so many results, only limit results and return to the results section later after you have completed introduction and remove this less information or less relevant information. You don't need it. Okay, you need to make a professional article, a high quality article. And this is the topic of our presentation today. Uh, Never use percentage for a very small sample. Example, 1 out of 4. Don't say 1 out of 4. Don't say 25%. You say 1 out of 4 or 1 out of 2. Don't say 50%. 1 out of 2, 1 out of 4, 1 out of 3, etc. Use mean and standard deviation to report normally distribution data, and use median and presentable range to report your skewed data. So 96.7 plus minus 48. So it's a mean, okay? And use it. Don't write them down. Use it as numbers. And as I mentioned, tips in method section, use qualitative and quantitative details. Here are some true and false or good way to write the research question and the true and false. So what effect does social media have on people's mind? This is a question. But is it right? Actually, what effect does daily use of Twitter have on the attention span of under 16s? What is the difference between the two research questions? And what do you think is the best method to follow? Is it A or B? Actually, the question is B. What effect does daily use of Twitter have on attention span of under 16? Why is that? Because the first question is not specific enough. So what type of social media? Okay. What kind of effects? Which people? Which social media? Which platform of social media? Are we talking about Instagram, Twitter? Are we talking about Facebook? So what type of social media? You are not specific. Be specific. The second question defines its concept more clearly. It is reachable through qualitative and quantitative data collection. So I can, and this is important, don't pick or don't choose a topic or a research that it's hard to find data for it. Yeah, and this is a golden rule, another. So try to find a topic that we are facing in our daily lives or on our earth, and try to find a solution and try to focus more and make it easable and accessible to to reach the data of it. So qualitative and quantitative data of collection easily used in this second time. Does the US or the UK have a better healthcare system? The second question is for the same method, for the same topic. Sorry. How do the US and the UK compare in health outcomes and patient satisfaction among low-income people with chronic illness? Chronic illness like diabetes, like high blood pressure, always have been or always has been a big issue or big problem. So a lot of research topics and articles about this issue. So what do you think is the best research question for this topic? Actually, the second again. The first question is too broad, okay, and overly subjective. There is no clear criteria for what counts as better, what is better. The second question is much more researchable, and it uses clearly defined terms and narrows it focus to specific population. So I'm going to talk about specific population. Okay, I'm focusing. Third example, has there been an increase in homeless in San Francisco in the past 10 years? How have economic, political, and social factors affected patterns of homeless in San Francisco over the past 10 years? While the first question is too simple, it can be answered. Has there, yeah, it can be, yeah. Yeah, I not any, yeah, if I, for example, if you mentioned this question, has there been an increase? Yes, I noticed so many homeless people in the last 10 years. So try to make it more complex, to make it more interesting, to make it more, to motivate their viewer to read your article. Because you are going to write a high impact, a high quality article. Discussion section. In discussion section, we are going to talk about, sorry. Discussion section address this question. What is the meaning of your results? So you get your result, but okay, what is the meaning of this result? For discussion section, note some issues or some points. First, discussion section is easy to write, and this is obvious. Why is easy to write? Because all the hard work, or most of the hard work, has been done. Okay, you write method section, you write your result section. So discussion is like, okay, you did the hard work, the method section, and you did the hard work, the results. Okay, you go to your lab many times, to your laboratory, you made so many experiments, you did this, okay? So it's easy to write, but it's difficult to write it well. And this is a problem facing many scholars. Because in discussion section, what you are going to offer to the reader, to the reviewer, what? The results. Why should be interested in your results? Requires more than a simple analysis. Explain how important your findings are. What is the importance of your findings? And in this discussion section, you should be always, you should be honest. You should criticize yourself. You should justify the standards, method, suggest also improvements. So in this section, you should suggest improvement, okay? Criticize yourself and be honest. And this is because your honesty will be reachable to the reviewer, to the journal, and you will be able to publish your article easily in this way. So be honest. and discuss. And one other point in discussion section I want to mention is, as I mentioned, hypothesis talk about the gap, and method talk about the procedure, you mean. So in discussion section, you should show what? You should show how you fill this gap that you've talked about, okay? How to fill this gap in this area of studies, okay? How you fill this gap. So you should discuss it, you should prove it, you should show your effort, and you should give me a reason to read it. Yeah, you should give the viewer reason, logical reason, why I should be interested in your research. No matter, doesn't matter your effort or results. You can go to laboratory many times and you can spend many hours, but if you didn't write this discussion section well, it will reduce your quality, okay? So focus more on showing the, not only the effort, okay? Because most of us do a lot of effort as a researcher, but the right effort. Show them the effort that guided you to what? To write conclusion, to write to the optimal solution for this problem you are discussing or the question you are addressing. What are the questions should be answered? What should I answer? What question should be answered in this discussion? How does these results relate to the original question or objectives outlined in introduction section? So show me how these results relate to the question I've mentioned, okay? Is there any way to interpret your results? And this is the part of what? Of developing your research, okay? Also, do the data support your hypothesis, okay? What further research would be necessary to answer the question raised by your results? So it's a future expectation about what? Your future expectation. Okay. Another thing to mention in this discussion. Always start from analysis to implementations, not the contrast. Okay. You analyze, and then you get to implementations of your analysis. Okay. You have to show this in discussion section. Are your results consistent with what other investigants have reported? And this is also a good point to think about it, okay? So not a comparison, but we can use this to raise the quality of our article. By what? By comparing. What is the organization? So in each section I mentioned the organization of each section in the results, okay, in the method, which is the first section. What is the organization of your discussion section? Focus first. What is the most important, and move to what is this important to your research problem. And as I mentioned, this is the most golden rule. I'll always repeat it, and I'll always repeat. The first paragraph part should summarize the process, the results, and the overall purpose of the study. So focus in the first paragraph on the what? On the overall purpose of your study. The second paragraph part should answer the question about limitations and potential flaws or shortcomings of the study, e.g., for example, failure to reveal clear relations between samples or group, access which of the results are most useful in answering the research question, access which of the results are most useful. So you should focus on what? What the results that are useful in answering the research question you mentioned. The third paragraph should focus on the success of the study and highlight which method or approach yield the best results or those most closely hypothesis. You can also compare results of different methods and assess which was more fruitful and why. So in this section, I mentioned you can use many methods of analysis. You have like BCA, you have HCA, etc. So you can also on this part in third paragraph you can, for example, compare the results of different methods. So each method, what are the results and what you think is the most fruitful and why. Discuss the implications for this research and compare to the results of other studies. By comparing the results for other studies, you will show the importance of your study. It's a trick, but it's a tool. Tips to follow in discussion section. First, start with the analysis of results and move to implementations, as I mentioned. Second, use present and past tense, passive or active, depending on the context. You can use active, okay, no issue, but that's it, depending on the content. And remember the 4 factors of writing effective article: coherence, clarity, relevance, etc. So in relevance, okay, divide the analysis of results by paragraph. Do not combine unrelated database. Don't combine so unrelated database. So if I have, for example, a topic about many things, so I should not combine the related database. Don't expand on talking about the impacts of research. Don't expand about talking the impact of research. Set some boundaries. Some boundaries should be set it actually. And don't expand in talking in this, okay? Use the most important part and put it in. Do not include new ideas or terms. And this is a rule, okay? So some people have this misconception between the future expectations and including new ideas or terms. Okay, expectations of your area of study doesn't mean that you should or you have to or doesn't mean to introduce a new idea. Okay, future expectations should be related to what? To your ideas. And this is another rule. So expectations, future expectations should be related to what? To your ideas. Don't relate future expectations to new idea and try to push it or to put it in your discussion section. And this is a problem many scholars fall into. Use specific expressions, like instead of "we're significantly different," use "p less than 0.0." So or 5%. So as I mentioned, don't say high temperature. Say 41 degree. Don't say it's too cold, or the weather in, for example, the temperature in laboratory while doing the experiment was cold, or it was cold. Say, mention it was like 5 degree, 3 degree, 2 degree. Okay? Use always specific expressions. Now, introduction section. What does this study talk about and why it's essential? So the introduction section address this question. What does this study talk?
Excuse me, madam.
And why
Excuse
it's
me.
essential?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Madam,
First,
a small doubt regarding
Sir,
tabulation of results.
sir, after the lecture, sir, questions.
Okay, okay,
After
sir.
lecture,
Sorry,
carry on, carry on. If you
yeah.
have any queries after the finished lecture, you can ask. Yeah, carry on, madam.
Yeah. What does this study talk about and why it's essential? Okay. You should include gaps in knowledge of that study aims to fill. Okay. As I mentioned, from broad to what? To narrow. So from broad, introduction has the most citations, okay? So many citations are included in the introduction part. So include gaps in knowledge of the study aims to fill, okay? Establish the context of the work, okay? So it's like establishment, okay? The context of your work. You should prepare your review to your topic. You should begin by talking about, for example, how cancer illness is spread wide and etc. And then you should narrow it and establish the context of your work. You should attract the reviewer, okay? Give aims and rationale of your approach. What are the aims? What's the logic followed of your approach? State the purpose of the work in the form of problem. What is the purpose of this work? Don't mention, I state the purpose of the work, da 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 da. No, say a problem we are facing today, one of the most problems we are facing today. So we are going, for example, talk about how population is increased rapidly, for example. And then I'm going to talk about, for example, informal settlements. So I should start by saying the increasing rapidly population has been witnessing high average in the last 10 decades. Okay, then I said this leads to what? To the informal settlement. Informal settlement, they are exist in most countries. Then you can give some percentage and citations and a lot of things. And the basic problem we are facing, or the basic obstacle we are facing in planning the cities, is the informal settlement. So now you draw my attention, you pay my attention, draw my attention to what? I understand. So the problem is the informal settlement. What are the questions should be answered? What is the problem to be solved? The background and the problem. What do we know about this problem? And this is in the literature section. Are there any existing solutions? So you should talk about other researchers and solutions for it, for example. What are the limitations or gaps in knowledge of existing solutions? So, and this is what make your article high qualified. It's the gap you are trying to fill, and there is no one else has noticed it before. Okay, so okay, there are so many plans, there are so many solutions, there are so many articles about informal settlement, but I'm going, in my topic this for today, I'm going to fill or talk about, because they are not fixing, for example, the sewage system. Okay, so the sewage system or the electricity distribution system, etc. What do you hope to achieve with this study? Hypothesis, statement of purpose. Let's talk about the organization of your introduction. First, background information about the topic. Motivations. Why do you undertake this study? So, as I mentioned, informal settlement. So, background about population and rapid increased population all over the global. Then, why did you decide to take this problem? Because we are facing now, for example, a lot of informal settlement in your area or your country, and this is a big issue I want to talk about. And for example, this is the way, the mentality you should put in the introduction section. Key primary literature that says foundational work or closely paper supporting. Use the literature that support your paper. Hypothesis or research problem should be included or organized. Then approach and rational use and why. So background, motivating, key primary, hypothesis, and then approaches and rational use and why. And notice here, use clear phrases to introduction. How many sources can use? Well, if you have an article about 10 to 15 paper, you can use 5 to 8 sources as citation in your introduction. So 10 to 5, 10 to 5 papers in your article, 5 to 8 sources as a citation in your introduction. Literature. What should I write or what should I put in literature? Provide a concise and accurate review of the relevant published literature available. Define key terms. Give general review of the primary research literature. Summarize what researchers knew about the specific problem. So we can say backfeed studies or whatever. Summarize, you can summarize, another, because as I mentioned, introduction is all about citations. Avoid using too many details and lengthy explanations, okay? Focus on literature, but don't expand, okay? And one main point, introduction is the cover, okay? So if the reviewer won't be interested in the cover, he won't open the book. Don't judge the book by its cover. Yes, that's true, but you should use attractive cover to your topic, because many reviewers, for example, use that technique of skimming. They using this article and read it, skimming it. So if they think it's not interesting, they will put it away. Skimming only take like 5 to 7 minutes, and that's it. Okay, so try and skimming. Focus on abstract and introduction. Okay, so they are going to skim your introduction and abstract, and that's all. Okay, so try to make it attractive. Try to make it easy to read. Okay, and the abstract, notice here, it should be between 200 words to 30 words, 300 words. Some resources say no to 250, but others say no, 300 words. Okay, so your abstract should be like between 200 and 300 words. Okay, and they should attract, because many journals say, send me the abstract. Okay, send me the abstract. So try to put this in your introduction and abstract. What primary literature should I cite it? What the literature should I cite it? Include articles include research related to study. So you should cite it and articles that are related to your studies. Review articles, summarize all the research done. Present supporting evidence and data, include preferable studies. Cite of all the sources listed in the reference section. Don't miss one, okay? And you will win the golden prize of what? Of high quality article. And this is what we are talking about. Now, tips to follow an introduction section. Include a clear purpose statement or hypothesis. Use reliable resources to support your study. Okay, good scholar, books, etc. Use keywords from title to concentrate on the exact problem in research. So, as I mentioned, I'm talking about informal settlement. So, in the keywords, I should use informal settlement, for example, urban development, for example, planning, for example, regional planning, urban planning, the difference between them, okay? And this is because I'm dealing or addressing the problem, which is what? The informal settlement. Use present and past tense, passive and active, depending on the context. have a peer review hub or service to look over your draft. And it will actually accelerate your effort. Okay, you've done a lot of effort, but one with expert, with the experience, can just skimming it and giving you the revision of it, and you can accelerate your work and your effort. Don't forget to include citations of literature. Don't discuss methods or results in introduction, and don't cite literature that's not closely to your study. Okay, don't cite literature that's not closely to your study. That was all about writing effective paper, how to write a high quality paper. So you write it, you won the golden prize, you understand all the information I shared it with you, and now you write your article, you finished your article, and you want to publish, but you haven't any idea about impact factor and the publication of impact factor. Publication, sorry, in good impact factor journal. So let's talk about impact factor. What does this term mean? Impact factor means the measure of the frequency of publication with which the average article in journal has been cited in particular year. It measures the importance of rank of a journal by calculating the times its article has cited. The more the article is cited, the more high impact it influences. And this is a conclusion, an easy conclusion. Okay. What is the history of this term? The impact factor was devised by Igor Garfol, the founder of the Institute of Scientific Information. Impact factors are calculated yearly starting from 1975 for a journal listed in the Journal Citation Report, GCR. ISI was sold to NX Corporation and Barry Private Equity Asia. They founded a new corporation, which is now the publisher of GCR. There's something called GCR, and there's something called the impact factor. And this impact factor, for example, determine the quality of the journal. So the impact factor determines the quality of the journal, and you made an effort and you want to publish in publication in journals with high impact factor. Some people go to peer reviewing. What is peer reviewing? I mentioned it. I mentioned this term in writing article with high impact factor. Peer reviewing. I said that after you are finished your writing, your thesis or dissertation, go and give it to peer review, and it will accelerate your effort, if you remember. So, a scholar peer review is the process of subjecting an author's research to the scrutiny of others who are experts in the same field. So, if you are an expert in for example, in agriculture, so please send me your article, okay, to review it. It's called peer review. Before a paper describing this article is published in a journal. There are 3 levels of peer review, or more: blind, double blind, or triple blind. What is the meaning of this? Some journals do what? Some journals do, for example, I want to publish a paper. Okay, my article, I made my effort and I follow all the instructions and etc. And I want to share it. So I go to a journal to publish to a publish house. Okay, I go to a publish house and tell them, please let me publish it. So this publishing house is like an intermediate between the who and who, between the peer reviewing and between the author. Okay, so this publishing house will have a connection or with, they will say this is an article, please review it for us. So even if the peer review in the same city, he won't do it. So it's blind, double blind, maybe two people, or triple blind. Review process take a few months, and in some cases, not only 2 or 3 months, it's actually 2 or 3 years in some cases. So before publishing, cost-free most of cases. Review process is what? It's serious. It's not easy. It's serious. That's why it's taking time. Okay. Your credit is your citation. The more people review your article, the more cited is your article, the more credit you are getting. Peer review credit criteria guide. So make to online journal topics and educate formatting. Innovation and importance of the studies, show it. Organization, readability and English language, and, be careful to the grammar, as I mentioned. Literature review, consistency and relevancy. Study conclusion, limitations and future direction of your research. Study design methods and analysis of findings. I talked about the impact factor. What is the impact factor? Okay, and I talked about the peer review. If you heard this term, you will know what is the peer review. Now, I'm going to talk about the international journals, Scopus, Elevisa, Elsevier, Springer. So Scopus as Elsevier's abstract and citation database launched in 2004. It was launched in 2004. Scopus covers nearly 377 titles, 20,794 active titles and inactive titles. From approximately, Scopus is widely ranged, it's famous, it's like 11,678 publishers and 34,346 are peer-reviewed journals in top-level subject fields. Elsevier, publishing company, it was established in 1880. It's a Dutch publishing and analytic company specializing in scientific, technical, and medical content. It's a part of Relax Group, known until 2015 as Red Elsevier, headquartered Amsterdam, Netherlands. So it's located in Netherlands. Springer is a global publishing company of books, e-books, peer-reviewed journals, and science and humanities, technical and medical publication. It's located actually in Berlin, Germany. And it was founded in 1842. All of these journals, as I noticed, so Elsevier and Springer, they are old. They are like from 1842. Okay, the concept of publishing is not new. It's an old because you are going to share it with people around you. And there's also a famous international journal called Nature. So I talked about impact factor. Okay, I talked about the international journals, and I'm going to talk about how to calculate this impact factor. Okay, in any given year, we have, for example, impact factor 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, etc. So in any given year, the 2-year journal impact factor is the ratio between the number of citations received in that year divided by the total number of citable items publishing in the journal during the 2 preceding years. How is that? How to calculate? For example, here is the questions for this: citations, publications in the year precede and the 2 years precede. Example, I want to know the impact factor for this journal. So how many citations were made in 2017? Citations of 2017 IF is the number of times article published in 2016 and 15 were cited by indexed journal during 2017. So the total number of times articles published in 2016 and 2000, how much citations in 2017 from 2016 and 2015. B is the total number of citable items published. So what are the the number of citable items that are published in 2018, in 2016, sorry, for example, and 2015. So this is the IF, the impact factor. Tools to measure impact factor publications. There are so many tools or journals. The SCI indexing, the Science Citation Index, is a citation index originally produced by the Institute of Scientific Information and created by Garfield. It was officially launched in 1964. It's now owned by Larative, previously the intellectual property of science business of Thomson Reuters. SNIB, Source Normalized Impact Peer Paper. Source Normalized Impact Paper is a sophisticated metric that accounts for fold specific differences in citation practices. It does so by comparing. So I'm comparing each journal citations per publication with the citation potential it's. So I'm comparing here in this SNIB, comparing the citation potential in its field defined to what? With citation potential of its field, okay? As the set of publication citing the journal. SC Imigo journal rank. The SC Imigo journal rank, or abbreviated to SGR, indicator is measured of the scientific influence of scholarly journal that accounts for both the number of citations. So I'm looking to what? To the number of citation here received by the journal and the importance of prestige of that journal. The importance and the number of citation. Where the citation come from? Where the citation come from? A journal's SGR is a numeric value indicating the average number of weighted citations received during a selected peer document published in that journal during the previous 3 years. So SCMGO, 3 years, okay? Citations, it will include citation for 3 years, okay? Higher SGR values are meant to indicate greater journal prestige. H index. The H index was suggested actually in 2005 by George Hirsch, a physicist at UC San Diego, as a tool for determining theoretical physics relativity quality, and it's sometimes called the Hirsch index of Hirsch. Why this concept appears, and what is the difference between it and between the impact factor? Actually, H index look to 2 factors, not only citations like the impact factor. It also include what? The productivity of the own research, productivity of each research. So H index is an author level metric that attempts to what? To measure both productivity and citation, impact of the publication of a scholar. So the H index is accepted for research fellowship, for example, and holding position at top universities. The index is based on the set of scientists' most cited papers. So we are looking to most cited papers for the authors and the number of citations that they have received in other publications. So what the number of citations that have received in other publications? Can we hear the question? Can we compare between H index and impact factor index? What do you think? Actually, the answer is no. No comparison. Why? Because the impact factor is used to measure what? To measure general prestige. Why? The H index factor is used to measure researcher impact. The impact of researcher, not the journal. So it's not, you cannot compare them because they are not in the same category. So when you hear the H index, you will not identify the different meanings between H index and to what? To publish in in journals with high impact. Okay, high impact factor. How about collocations? So, okay, I understand it's about productivity, not only citations, but how it's calculated. The H index is defined as the maximum value of H, for example, such that a given author journal has published H papers that have been cited at least H times. The index is designed to improve upon simpler measure, such as total number of citations or publications. So they are reconsidering, or they are considering your effort. The index, this index works probably only for comparing scientists working in the same field. Citation convention differ widely among different fields. Example, let's take this example. We have journals with, we have a researcher who has 5 publications. Publication A, publication B, publication C, D, and E. So the number of citations in each article, for example, in publication A was 10, publication B was 8, publication C was 5, and publication D was 4. And for E, it was 3 citations, respectively. So the H index is equal to what? To 4 or 3? Actually, it equals to 4, because the 4th publication has 4 citations, and the 5th has only 3. So the 5th, the E, has only 3, and the what? The 4th has 4. In contrast, sorry, I hear disturbing voice. Some publication have, for example, 25, 8, 5, 3, and 3 citations. The index is a 3. The 3rd position, because the 4th paper, so the 4th paper has only 3 citations. Okay? The H index is the max of the minimum. Yes, the maximum of the minimum. Look to the minimum, last minimum, and compare it to the maximum. ISI and school both allow to check and calculate your citations and H index. But both databases are limited to peer-reviewed journals only. Books, book chapter, and report are not covered. You can check your Google citations in this following. I'm going to talk briefly about other indexes, just to take a glance, okay? We have I-10 index, created by Google Scholar, and it's used in Google My Citations feature. I-10 index, the number of publications with at least 10 citations. The number of how many publications with at least 10 citations. Advantages. Very simple and straightforward to calculate. My citations in Google Scholar is free and easy to use. Disadvantages, used only in Google Scholar. G-index proposed by Eudoxia in his paper, Theory and Practice of the G-index in 2006, as an improvement. So in G-index, they try to improve the concept of H-index. The G-index gives more weight to highly cited articles. The index is calculated based on the distribution of citations. So the index is calculated by what? Based on what? The distribution of citations. Not only we are taking like the average in simple sentence or simple words received by a given researcher publication, such as that given for a set of articles ranking in decreasing order of the number of citations that they have received. The G-index is the unique largest number. So it's the largest number, such as the top G articles received together at least G2 citations. What is the advantage of this method, which try to develop or improve from H-index? The advantages is accounts for the performance of other top articles. So I'm accounting because we are talking like we are taking the distribution of citations your publication were cited. So accounts for the performance of others top article authors top article helps to make more apparent the difference between authors' respective impacts. The inflated values of G-index help to give credit. So I only in H-index I give credit to what? To productivity, and here I give credit also to lowly cited or non-cited papers, while giving the credit high credit for highly cited papers. The disadvantage, it's widely accepted as the H-index. You can contact me for any further details. Here's my contact details, and I wish all you enjoy and this presentation benefit you. And thank you for listening, and thank you for
Yeah. Yeah. Swati madam. Madam, you end the show, end the presentation.
Yeah.
You can end now.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much, ma'am. It's really wonderful and informative session. We are also getting the feedback from the participants. That's really very good, ma'am. And it's very
Thank
clear and understandable and outstanding. Thank you a lot, ma'am. Now I
Thank you.
request participants.
Just let me put the because I can hear you. Yeah. Yeah.
I request the participants, if you have any queries, you can ask to the resource person. Please, you can unmute and raise the question to the resource person.
Yes,
Yeah. Yes, sir. Ibrahim,
yes,
sir.
please. Yes. Please, I'm asking, first of all, thank you very much for the wonderful presentation. We actually enjoyed the presentation. It's informative. Yeah. Yes. How the peer review time taking 2 to 3 years and the research result irrelevant?
Sorry, can you repeat the question? How?
Yes. I'm sending article for publication, and then it takes 2 to 3 years before publication, and how that result be relevant? The research.
Relevant. Yeah, can you write down, because there are so many sounds. So I heard relevant and 2-3 years, but I couldn't get it. Write them down in the chat, please. Your
Okay.
question.
Okay.
And sorry for making long this presentation, but it's two major subjects and two major topics. So I try to cover them all. So sorry for the time. Yeah, what's the question, sir? Write it down. Can you write them down, Mr. Ibrahim? Sir Abraham, can you write your question down, please?
Yes, I'm writing it down.
Yeah. May I request who has a question to write it down? Because the voice, I hear so many voices, not only the voice of the one who wants to ask, I hear the voice of some children. So please write.
Excuse me, Upendar sir. Upendar
Write your.
sir.
Yeah. Good evening. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, the question is, first question is how to become a good reviewer. Um, there is no specific method or procedure you should follow to be a good reviewer, but I suggest to what? To read so many articles, to this is first, to read articles in high impact journals, and also to yeah to review the cells I mentioned and the points and the tips I've mentioned. Okay, so the grammar, the variety and diverse using of verbs and linking verbs, the importance of the information, to organize it always from the most important to least important. So by following this, you can be a good reviewer, I guess. I mean, the research data still be still relevant. Thank you. Yeah, the your research data is always developing, and it's always there are always new data all the year. Okay, so you need to have to refresh your data all the times. How can we do comparative study with the quantitative qualitative data techniques? You can do it. You can do it. I recommend to focus more, for example, on qualitative data more than quantitative data. When talk about research gap, for example, studies in our country and taking same study in India. So far, not studies in the Indian context. Is right to say is this is the research gap. I'm not aware of Indians actually what's going on in India. Okay, but it can be a research gap. What I mean by me saying a research gap, it means a problem or no one noticed before. For example, all the people talk about environmental pollution, but let's talk about, for example, light pollution and voice pollution, sound pollution. And which type of article getting more important than which type of articles getting more important than other articles? The articles that have has the as I mentioned, the quality of the article is the more cited, the more it's has a high quality, and this is what makes the difference. How can summarize the questionnaire data? It's a long process to summarize the questionnaire data. I will not, for the time, I will not go in this now. How can I identify a journal with high impact factor? Actually, I was going to share with you, but before we have, we have a strict time, and because it's actually a huge topic to talk. So I talked about two huge topics: how to write effective and how to determine the impact factor and journal's impact factor. Yeah. How? So please let me. Okay. So yeah. So I talked about two. I was going to show you how to pick journal with high impact factor, but because we have less time, I didn't. I wasn't able, because I want you to know exactly how to write an effective article. How to decide the sample size? According to the what? Okay, deciding the sample size according to many factors actually. One factor is what? The reason or the research question. Okay. Another factor, according to what? To the point you are going to share it. What aims and what you seek in your this research. Third, according to your time. Yeah, because the more sample size it is, the more work you are going to do. Um,
Yeah, Swati madam.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yes, excellent. Swati madam.
Yes, sir.
yeah,
Sorry for that. Time is
yeah,
nearly 3 o'clock.
yeah. Sorry for time.
Yeah,
Yeah, sorry for time. Yeah.
yeah, you can carry on for the vote of thanks.
Thank you,
Yeah,
sir. Thank you so much
you
for
can
that.
share your other.
Sure, sure, sure. Again, it's a great honor and thank you, sir. Thank you so much for that. Sure, sure, sure. First time, the Almighty God the present situation. I trust
Sorry, I can't hear you. I can't hear you.
ask you, please. I thank our well-wisher.
Madam, your voice is not clear, madam. Swati madam.
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Swati madam, your voice. Yeah, little bit. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Can you?
Yeah.
I'm getting the echoing.
Yeah,
I
no.
hope someone is on.
Please others keep mute. Please others keep mute.
I request the participants to themselves. My heartfelt thanks to our management and for the encouragement making it even possible. Really happy to listen my own voice again. Request the participants to mute.
Yeah.
Okay, madam. Yeah.
I extend my thanks to all the participants who made this event immense success. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much for joining us. Before ending, I would like to give a small announcement that we are having the international webinars in this month on 20 and 28. It will be also useful for the research scholars. Hope everyone will be joining us on 20 and 28. On 20, we are having a topic upon econometric tools and techniques for research. On 28, we are having for machine learning in finance, present and future scenario. Hope you enjoyed the session. Thank you so much for everyone for participating. Thank you all.
Yeah. Thank you, madam.
And thank you,
Dear-
Mother Teresa,
thank
for
you very
this
much.
invitation.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. Sir.
Dear participants, just now I shared in Google chat box feedback form. It will be available up to 1 hour. Don't do mistakes and give correct details. As per your details, you will get certificate. Thank you all. Suzie madam, once again, I thank you. Thank you very much, madam. We are looking forward more webinars from you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you,
thank you
sir.
all. Thank you all. I
And thank
saw
you to organizing it.
many participants are participated. Thank you once again. Bye, madam. Bye, all.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, thank you.
Bye, all.
It's
Okay.
time to
Have a great
wind
day.
up the grid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye, bye, bye.
Bye.
Feedback form, please.
Yeah. Hello, sir. Yeah, you fill feedback form, sir. Hello, Raja, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, you fill feedback some. Hello, sir.
Hello, sir. Hello, sir. Hello.